It was one of the fastest rises in financial history, and one of the most shocking collapses the world has ever seen. At its peak, FTX was valued at $32 billion, but almost overnight, it all came crashing down. In this video, we're breaking down the unbelievable story of the FTX collapse, from its superstar founder to the massive downfall that shook the entire crypto world. And trust me, the twists behind this scandal will leave you stunned. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell. Because in the world of money and technology, the biggest fortunes can vanish in an instant. The rise of Sam Bankman-Fried. Sam Bankman-Fried, known as SBF, wasn't your typical crypto bro. MIT graduate, effective altruist advocate, and the son of Stanford law professors, he presented himself as the responsible face of cryptocurrency. By age 30, he had built FTX into a trading empire worth $32 billion, making him one of the richest people under 30. He lived modestly, drove a Toyota Corolla, and pledged to give away his fortune to charity. Major media outlets praised him as a genius, and politicians from both parties accepted his donations. But beneath this carefully crafted image lay a web of financial misconduct that would ultimately bring everything crashing down. The Alameda Research connection. The first red flag that many missed was FTX's relationship with Alameda Research, SBF's trading firm. While FTX positioned itself as an independent exchange, Alameda had special privileges that other trading firms didn't enjoy. Court documents later revealed that Alameda could borrow unlimited amounts from FTX customer deposits without proper collateral. This wasn't disclosed to users who believed their funds were safely segregated. Alameda used these borrowed funds for high-risk trades, real estate purchases, and political donations. When crypto markets turned bearish in 2022, Alameda's massive leveraged positions began losing billions, creating a massive hole in FTX's balance sheet that would prove impossible to fill. The house of cards begins to crumble. The beginning of the end started with a CoinDesk report in November 2022 revealing Alameda's balance sheet. The report showed that Alameda's assets were heavily concentrated in FTT tokens, FTX's own exchange token. This revelation raised serious questions about the firm's solvency and the circular nature of the FTX-Alameda relationship. Changpeng Zhao, CEO of rival exchange Binance, announced that Binance would sell its $500 million worth of FTT tokens, citing recent revelations. This announcement triggered a massive sell-off of FTT tokens and sparked a bank run on FTX as customers rushed to withdraw their funds. The 5-day collapse. What happened next was unprecedented in its speed and scale. On November 6, withdrawal requests flooded FTX, but the exchange couldn't meet demand. SBF initially dismissed concerns on Twitter, claiming FTX was fine and had enough liquidity. By November 8, Binance announced a potential bailout acquisition, only to back out within 24 hours after discovering the true extent of FTX's financial problems. On November 11, FTX filed for bankruptcy, and SBF resigned as CEO. Within 5 days, a $32 billion empire had completely collapsed, leaving millions of customers unable to access their funds. The missing billions. As investigators continue to unravel the complex web of transactions at FTX and Alameda Research, the staggering scope of Sam Bankman-Fried's alleged fraud became clear. Prosecutors claimed that SBF had misappropriated more than $8 billion in customer deposits, money that was supposed to be safeguarded in segregated accounts but was instead siphoned off to cover Alameda Research's mounting trading losses. Far from being the cautious steward of investor funds he portrayed himself as publicly, SBF was accused of running FTX as little more than a front for funneling customer money into risky bets and personal indulgences. Despite carefully cultivating a public image of modesty, famously appearing in t-shirts, shorts, and sneakers, evidence revealed that he and his inner circle lived in extraordinary luxury. Hundreds of millions of dollars were spent on sprawling oceanfront real estate in the Bahamas, private jets, lavish travel, and high-profile political donations aimed at gaining influence in Washington. Alameda Research, instead of being an independent trading firm, effectively became a piggy bank for SBF, sustained by the billions in customer deposits that were quietly diverted from FTX. By the time the scheme collapsed in late 2022, the financial hole was massive. An estimated $10 billion in customer funds had disappeared, leaving countless individual investors, institutions, and even charities scrambling to understand what had happened to their money. For many victims, these losses were life-altering, and the sheer scale of the missing funds led prosecutors to describe the FTX debacle as one of the largest financial frauds in modern U.S. history. The human cost. Behind the staggering numbers were real people whose lives were destroyed. Retail investors lost their life savings, pension funds lost millions, and charitable organizations found themselves unable to access donated funds. Small businesses that used FTX for payments were left stranded. The collapse didn't just affect crypto enthusiasts. It impacted teachers, retirees, and families who had trusted FTX with their hard-earned money. Many customers are still fighting to recover even a fraction of their deposits through the lengthy bankruptcy process. Legal consequences and trial. In December 2022, Sam Bankman-Fried, widely known as SBF, the founder of the collapsed cryptocurrency exchange FTX, was arrested in the Bahamas at the request of U.S. authorities. Soon after, he was extradited to the United States to face multiple federal charges, including wire fraud, securities fraud, money laundering conspiracy, and campaign finance violations. His arrest marked the dramatic downfall of a man once hailed as the golden boy of crypto, who had cultivated a reputation as a visionary entrepreneur and generous philanthropist. His trial began in October 2023 in New York and quickly revealed the staggering depth of deception that had taken place behind the scenes at FTX and its sister company, Alameda Research. Former executives and close associates, including Caroline Ellison and other top lieutenants, testified against him, admitting their own roles in the fraud, while describing how SBF had orchestrated the misuse of billions in customer funds. Prosecutors portrayed him as a manipulative operator who maintained the outward image of a responsible and ethical leader, while secretly diverting customer deposits to cover risky trades, lavish real estate purchases, and political donations. In November 2023, the jury found Bankman-Fried guilty on all 7 charges of fraud and conspiracy. The conviction cemented his place in financial history, alongside other infamous fraudsters such as Bernie Madoff, but with the unique distinction of being the first major figure from the cryptocurrency world to face such sweeping criminal accountability. He now faces the possibility of a sentence of up to 110 years in federal prison, a dramatic fall from grace for a man who, just a year earlier, was celebrated as one of the most influential figures in global finance. From skyrocketing success to sudden disaster, the fall of FTX proves just how fragile the world of crypto can be. What part of this collapse shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this deep dive into financial scandals, hit like, subscribe, and share this video with someone following the crypto drama. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and never stop questioning the stories behind the money.